You're watching PEGRI TV, Rhode Island's public access channel.
Salam. My name is Sheikh Abu Hakim Abdullah, President Chairman of Al-Masjid Sharia Law, a non-profit religious organization operating in the state of Rhode Island, USA. Muslim brothers and sisters, the only way you're going to beat this thing that's going on now is if you go back to what Allah said to do. You cannot handle this the way you want to handle this. You must handle this the way Allah said to handle it, as he did in the days when the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ started Islam in Mecca. You must begin to take your role in this whole mess. That means all of you. That means all of you. Islam is not controlled by any state or any government. It's controlled by Allah and you. And you must take your part in this mess that's going on. You want to stop the bombing in Yemen, killing innocent people, like it killed 200 so far with them bombs off them planes. You want to stop that? You can't stop that with a pistol. You can't stop that with another bomb. You can't stop that by blowing up embassies and all that, like the Taliban and all of them are doing. You must stop that by taking your role and standing up against the enemies of Allah. The same enemies that's bombing all these things is the same enemies that's bombing your people and setting them up to have this happen to your people. So you must take your role in this. You must begin to practice the Islam the way Allah had described you to do, had described it to you, and had laid it down through your Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. You must take your role now. You cannot do it the way you think you should do it. It must be done the way the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ put it together, with the Allah's help, with Allah giving him the news to put it together, and the help of his companions. That's what you must do. You must stand up against those that are bombing and blowing up things. You must stand up against those that are killing women and children. You must stand up against those that are bringing disturbance in the Islam world. And you can't do that by standing up with pistols and bombs. You must declare that they are no longer a part of you. On the radio, on the TV, on the newspapers, on every kind of way you can. You must stand up against them. You must do everything in the world to bring them down, except fighting them. You don't have the power to fight. Not one group. There's the whole countries, the whole Middle East standing up against the terrorists could do it. But the Western world don't want you to do that. They will not let you do that by yourself. If you do that by yourself, you stand up then and show the world where Islam is really at. And they don't want that to happen. The politicians don't want that to happen. The bankers don't want that to happen. The people that's selling bonds for prices don't want that to happen. The people that's lending money at an interest, they don't want that to happen. The dope pushers, the alcoholics, all don't want that to happen. So you see what you're against. What's against you? What's trying to destroy you? So, but you must stand up against that. That's what Islam was designed to do. Not for the masses, but for the Muslim. Not for the church, not for the synagogue, not for anybody but the Muslim. And if the non-believer lives in that block, so is he protected by that, the law of the Muslim. But you must stand up. Can't you see what's going on out here? You got sisters on the television talking with lipstick on, rouge on their faces, beautifying themselves, nails done, earrings hanging down. And they call themselves Muslims. And they're in violation of the law of the law of dress for a woman. But they call themselves Muslims. They call themselves moderates Muslims, modern Muslims, peaceful Muslims, democratic Muslims. You must stand up now against all that. And that means all of you, the one in the desert and the one in the city, the rich and the poor. Must stand up against that. That cannot be done just by, there's a lot of people who don't want this to happen. There's a lot of rich people who don't want this to happen. Rich Muslims there's a lot of rich Muslims don't want Islam to be practiced the way it is. They don't want control of themselves by a religion. They want democracy. They want the democratic system. They talk Islam out of one mouth, and then the next body is doing another thing. So I'm talking to you. I'm really talking to you. I'm trying to get to you. It's going to take work to stop this. The Western world is not going to be able to eliminate terrorism. Like somebody said on the TV today, on the newscast, it'd been out before England was made. It was out. Terrorism has been going on for a long time. So I advise you to get yourselves together and go ahead and start doing what the law told you to do. You cannot do your desires in Islam. Once you start your desires, those are the devils that are jumping around with you. You don't want Islam to be practiced. You want democracy, Bismillah. You want democracy. You want the democratic system to govern you. You want your Islam to just to deal with your soul. It's obvious what you're doing by what you're doing. This is what you're saying. Some of you have said it openly. Some of you college graduates have said it openly. Some of you professors have said it openly. Some of you doctors have said it openly. Some of you chemists have said it openly. You do not want physical Islam on you. You said it throughout Syria, you say it throughout everywhere. What I say, if you do not want it on you, then take the base, take the kufi off your head and call yourself Jake. Or Harry. And drop the name Mustafa and Abdullah and Abdul and Malik. And call yourself by other names. And give up your deen. And walk away from it. Because Allah has proved many times already that a few can be greater than the many. So I'm talking to you. I'm trying very hard to reach you. And I look like I don't have too long to do it, but I'm talking to you. So we got to get together now. How do we do that? We start doing what we're supposed to do by Quran and Hadith. We start deciding things by Quran and Hadith. We must take on the law, on the position as the leadership in the Deen. Just be the vanguard of Allah. This is how we must do it. We must go on the TV, on the radio. And if we're not going to do that, then support that's on the radio. Support them that's on the TV. Support them that's in the net. And it's not hard to find out what Allah said to do. Every one of you got 2 or 3 Bibles, 2 or 3 Qurans in your houses. Read them. And if you don't have the Hadith, go out and get a prayer, a set. And follow it. Follow them. Read the 2 books together, Quran and Hadith. The Sharia must be practiced by you. It has nothing to do with the non-believer, but you must practice it. You must follow the Sharia. Islam is more than you just turning your head to the left and to the right. It's more than just prayers. It's more than it's a spiritual world and a physical world. And you must come into that and do in that, be a part of those 2 worlds as Muslims. I advise you and I advise myself, follow the deen of Allah. For this ummah is but one ummah. This ummah is but one brotherhood. You was on your way to Islam in Egypt, and what you do? You let the army and then you all snatched the men, the 1 people that was doing it, out of there with arms and guns and tanks. And then what? In the United States, we don't want to talk to nobody but the moderates. The people that's trying to change Islam. People that's trying to make it look different than everything else, than it was. The people that's trying to modernize it, streamline it. So we must do something about all this. And the only way to beat it is to stand and do what you're supposed to do as Muslims. And you will find that you not only beat it, but you made it separate yourself from that world. And for countries that don't have no money, like Yemen. Yemen's a poor country. But it's got ambitious people in Yemen. It's got workers in Yemen, physical workers. Why not the Muslims turn around and build factories in Yemen, build plants in Yemen, put an automobile building company in Yemen, put a computer company in Yemen, North, South Yemen. Before the United States drive them people into being terrorists with them bombs. Because that's what's happening. Every time one of them so-called smart bombs hit the ground, they create 10 more Muslims, 10 more terrorists, 50 more terrorists. Every time a person died in one of them families, they had the whole family turn to be terrorists. Why? Because they was living next door and somebody dropped a smart bomb in there to kill one man, they killed 20. To kill one person, they killed 20 people. I don't appreciate that. But the enemy know that. That's why they stay in them places next to people. They know that. They know that if they turn around and they get bombed, they're going to get more. If they lose 2, they're going to get 50. If 2 people get killed by a bomb, they're going to get 50 volunteers for terrorism. I wrote a letter to the president. I said that in a letter. I said that on TV. I said that on the net. He knows this. But they feel they can eliminate Islam. They got the equipment to beat Islam. They got the bombs to drop on Islam. No, I'm telling you what you need to know. You got people that want them to go ahead and keep doing what they're doing. No, they keep they keep other countries in power. Countries don't care what they do in Yemen or what they do in Afghanistan. You got the people in Israel still building them houses on ground that they wasn't supposed to do it. They violating the law, the international laws. And they don't care. They're going to do what they want to do because nobody's trying to go in there and destroy it and take it from them and do something to them. So mean, what's the use of making laws if you're not going to follow them or have somebody to stand up and defend them against everybody? It's a joke. It's a real joke. Not a joke, but it's a real shame that this is what's happening in this country, this world today. And the poor got to come together and develop themselves and defend themselves. And the one thing they can defend themselves with is Islam. I say stand up. Stand up and be counted. When are you going to do that? When are you going to do that? Alhamdulillah. You must defend yourselves. And you must defend Islam. You can't run. Can't run. Who's been knocking? I want you to understand that what I'm saying. And Mr. President, I hope somebody's looking at this TV program or this internet spot and take this and bring it to you. But you cannot win this thing, and you cannot beat Islam down if you're going to keep dropping them bombs for one person in a truck and kill 15 or 20 people behind it in a car. You can't keep doing that. You're talking about terrorism. If that's not terrorizing a bunch of people, you tell me what is. You got a plane, they walking around scared of everything they hear in the sky. And they're talking about joining the Taliban. And if they're not joining, they're going to give them money to do what they want to do. Or they're going to sacrifice themselves with bombs on their chest because they don't have nothing else to live for. You kill their husbands or their wives and their families. It's a sick state. The Western world is turning, like I said, to Solomon and Gomorrah. You come from a barbaric people. The Western Hemisphere was barbaric. And you call the Eastern world savages. I say you must get together, brothers and sisters. We must all come together as one ummah. And we must come together and make people that want to put factories up in Yemen, North Yemen or South Yemen. Put factories up in Syria and all these other places. Open up medical centers. Do some research. Try to save people. Try to find an answer for HIVs. We must venture out and begin to do something. Must make our people independent. Well, I done gave you my little lecture, my little talk, my khutbah, sermon. And Mr. President, I advise you to go make wudu, clean yourself, and go sit down with all the Muslims and begin to talk to them. Or bring them to Washington, D.C., and we sit down in the yard out there. And come up with a way how to stop this thing. Both sides. You come up with a way how to stop it. But we can't come up with nothing if you're going to say, well, you're only going to talk to the Muslims. You're going to talk to the very same people that's splitting the religion down the middle. I can't see joining anything other than Islam. I can't see joining anything other than Islam. I can't be anything other than a Muslim. I done been in all that other stuff. You got people painting Jesus and all these other things and all this other stuff. You got fake and all this stuff going on. You're portraying everything to look like yourselves. So, I can't see anything other than Islam.